Hi everybody. So today I wanted to make a YouTube video just for the purpose of giving awareness and information to others who are afraid to ask questions or who aren't aware and may need to seek medical attention for a disease known as otosclerosis. This is something that I personally dealt with, so I'm first going to give the definition of it, various symptoms, and then I'm going to tell my personal story. I wanted to make sure that this was not scripted at all. I wanted it to be completely candid, and if anybody has any questions they want to ask me after, or shoot me some comments below, or continue to share this, please share it. I plan on sending this to other medical places and people like Dr. Oz who may be interested in even bringing more awareness to this disease and sharing our stories. So to begin with, otosclerosis. It's an abnormal hardening of body tissue in the ear that disrupts the ability of sound to travel from the middle ear to the inner ear. Otosclerosis affects more than 3 million Americans. Many cases of otosclerosis are indeed inherited. Many symptoms are hearing loss that gradually causes your deafness. The hearing loss can travel from one ear to the other, and it usually does. Some people may have dizziness or balance problems. So we're going to get into my personal story with otosclerosis. So I was diagnosed with otosclerosis in late September of 2015. I received my first surgery for otosclerosis in October of 2015. What started in August was I had been complaining of just some ear issues as far as like just some blockage and feeling like my sinuses were bothering me. I have severe allergies, so I just kind of put it in that category that I was just having allergy issues. I didn't feel like I was losing my hearing. Pretty much since college, so my freshman year back in 2008, I was 17 years old. My mother and my brother had brought to my attention that they thought that I was having hearing loss issues. 17 and 18, you don't think that you can have those issues. You don't think that can even be a thing because you think that you're invincible. You know, I was headed to college. I was going to Virginia Tech to run track, and I'm like, I'm strong, I'm healthy. Beyond having, allergies, I'm like, I'm fine. I can hear things. So all 4 years of college, I'm competing at a national level, Division I. I'm taking in directions from coaches, from officials at the track, and I would sometimes feel like I was out of conversations, or if I'm in the middle of a conversation, I felt like people were whispering. So I began to be a master of like when people would, lip reading, or if people were whispering, I would try to make out what they were saying or hurry up and guess what they were going to say next because I would find myself straining to hear. I thought this was normal. I grew accustomed to it, so that was my normal. It wasn't something odd for me. It alarmed my brother and my mother. I would have TV volume that was extremely loud. It was always on max. My music was always loud in my car. I hated going into public places where the TV was low, or if people were again whispering or what I thought to be whispers. It would drive me crazy because I could not be a part of conversations. So fast forward, about maybe last summer, so summer of 2015, I'm home with my mother and we decide to go grocery shopping. I tell her I'm going to take the cart after she unloads the cart, and I'm walking the cart back to the cart rack, and there is a car behind me, actually like speeding up and is about to hit me. I had no clue that the car was there. I could not hear the noise of the car. And then I could not hear my mother like yelling my name. She was screaming like, Anya, move out the way. I had no clue. So I put the card away, I turn around, and she's looking at me in shock, like, I just screamed for you and told you there was a car, and you had no clue that I just did this. I knew it was serious when that happened. I knew that I could not hear, and at that point, it was really affecting my safety, because had I been alone or had, the car just kept going, I could have been hit. If I was walking alone at night, someone could grab me, kidnap me. I may not hear their footsteps. It wasn't a joke anymore. It wasn't like, oh, Anya, you just want to blast your music in the car and be cool. It's, Anya, you can't hear for your own good. So I knew that it was no longer just a funny thing. It had to be medical. I went to my local ENT in Calvert County. Again, I'm still having false hope and thinking it's my allergies. And she did a throat and nose check, and she just said, everything was normal there. And then at the end of the exam, she's like, hey, why don't we just give you a hearing test? I have not had a hearing test since like middle school when I lived in Anne Arundel County. I never received a hearing test in high school. Calvert County did not provide me one. It was not a part of my physical in college. I never have had a hearing test like in my adult life. So I'm like, sure, no problem. I go in for the hearing test and I begin to realize that I actually cannot hear what the directions are being given to me. I even had simple words where I had to repeat what the operator of the test was saying. And as the sound kept diminishing, they were testing if I could pick up and hear the words. I couldn't. I also couldn't hear like small like bell tones and beeps. They were sounding far away, or either my reaction time to them was completely off. I had to be honest with myself. I struggled through the whole test. I was sweating, I got hot, I was embarrassed, I was confused, I felt lost, I felt like I was back in a public place where I felt like everyone was whispering. So when I got out of the test, the exam woman pretty much told me, you have a extremely like horrible hearing loss, that they could not help me in Calvert County. I had to be referred to Dr. Eisenman. So I was referred to him. So I was referred to Dr. Eisenman, who specialized in hearing at the University of Maryland, located in Baltimore, the University of Maryland Medical Center. So I went there, and they also conducted their own series of hearing tests for me. And immediately in my one session with him, he had diagnosed me with otosclerosis. So with the combination of my hearing test at the ENT, as well as my initial hearing test for otosclerosis at University of Maryland, I indeed had otosclerosis. Dr. Eisenman was very candid with me. He told me, quite frankly, that my case was very severe and that I would need surgery in not a month, but literally he could give me the surgery in 2 weeks. Due to me having a theater production, a professional theater production in Annapolis, with Compass Rose Theater, I had a lead role. I did not want to miss any time with that, and I also wanted to just go ahead and complete the show before going into the surgery. We pushed the surgery out a month due to that. He told me that he usually tells people that he diagnoses to wait like a year or two. Sometimes they'll try hearing aids or other devices to kind of see if, they can maintain their usual life. But for me, I was going deaf very quickly, and it was showing that it wasn't going to get better. He told me that he would not recommend hearing aids for me. I was 25, I still am 25. It just would not be a great quality of life. It would also be more expensive for me to have hearing aids, which would be a couple thousand, and get them replaced every couple of years, or if I lost them, to get them replaced, as opposed to a surgery where, I would only pay out of pocket a portion of the surgery cost. So due to the severity of the surgery, I had otosclerosis in both my left and my right ears. But because Dr. Eisenman wanted to be careful and make sure that the surgery was a success, he only performed the surgery on my left ear to start out with. So we chose that a month from when he diagnosed me, I would get the surgery done to my left ear. If successful, we would wait another 6 months to even up to a year, and then get my final surgery on my right ear. So I was very apprehensive, very nervous. I still was in halfway denial because I'm still thinking, like, this can't be true. I've never had a medical issue. I've never had surgery in my life before. I was very scared, honestly. And I felt like, is this something that older people have, like elderly? Because I just never thought that I could have this. So I finished my show. My castmates had no clue that I had hearing loss. And I, kind of acted my way through that. I was able to take direction, own the stage, get through all my, the play production quite simply because I was just doing what I usually do. So I got my surgery in October. The day of, I was, wanting to cry because I was really nervous that, is this going to work? Is it going to fail? Am I going to come out worse than what I already am? Should I have just left things alone? And I went in, I got the surgery. I will say that I had a very successful surgery. My mom, my aunt, and they were there to support me. And when I got out of the surgery, I was welcomed with so much support from people on social media, my Facebook friends and family who had no idea that I had this disease. And the hospital staff at University of Maryland were so wonderful. Dr. Eisenman was amazing. He had a flawless surgery. When I got out, I felt very unbalanced. The very first thing, I had to be helped to walk around and helped to the bathroom, and I had to be wheelchaired out. After surgery, you were required to be there between like 2 to 4 hours just to come to drink a little bit, to get some graham crackers, snacks, food in your system to see if you can hold your food down. And after leaving the hospital, after I kind of, came to, we drove back home, and I was given some Percocet, which I did not take after the first day because it made me really, really sick. Some people can handle it. I couldn't. So the very, very first day, I'm still in denial that I had a hearing surgery. My ear is, it still is prone to bleeding because they go in, they cut through your ear, your eardrum, and they have to go and shave the bone that was thickening, that was causing the blockage of your hearing. So it's deep down. They put a stuffing after the surgery in there to keep the bleeding down and keep the swelling down. So the stuffing, throughout the days and the weeks that you heal, it starts to itch, but do not go down there because it can really complicate, the surgery and kind of reverse what has happened. So you will need either yourself or either someone who can really help you change the dressing of your ear out, because that is a really serious part of it. You have to keep it clean. You have to put your eardrops in. You have to make sure it's definitely clean and disinfected. The first week that you're home, do not drive, do not go to work, do not lift things, if you have a dog, make sure you have a neighbor, or if you have family members that can come and help you with meals, picking up your dog, your cat, any of your animals, lifting, reaching, bending. You are not supposed to be doing that. Don't go work out. None of it. Don't run. Your balance will be off. You should not be driving. I will say that when I got into cars with people after the first couple of days, please warn them to keep the volume down. Like, either don't play music or anything in your car, or either have it on to like a volume of 2, because you will feel like it's the loudest thing in the world. So after the surgery, your hearing is actually amplified more so than what you would ever hear. So even the average person who hears something, you're going to hear something even more. So going to church, my first time at church during praise and worship, I had to excuse myself because I felt like I was at a rock concert. It's like times 3 than what the average person is hearing. That settles down after a month and a half, and you kind of will get used to certain places. If you're in a public place, it gets too loud. Tell people you aren't being rude, but you have to excuse yourself. If you want to put in your cotton balls as like earplugs, don't put anything else in your ear. No Q-tips or anything. But if you want to put like cotton balls in your ear to keep it protected, you can. You don't want your ear exposed to the cold, loud noises, any of that. A week and a half of not driving, I got into my car with no music because I was deathly afraid of having the music blast. And I got in my car and I started my engine, and because it was me alone, I could hear everything. I heard the actual engine. It sounded like pennies and gravel and a mixture of things just all grinding together. Driving was the scariest thing. I felt like I was out of sorts still, like I was floating almost on air. Your ears, and having surgery to them is a very sensitive thing. It affects your taste buds, it affects your balance, it affects your speech, everything, your equilibrium. So when something like that is tampered with, you definitely feel off. In regards to food, the first month, your temporal nerve is going to be affected. Sometimes the surgeon may accidentally hit it, and you may even lose your taste for a very long time, but it will come back. And sometimes just simply after the surgery, your taste buds really are affected. For me, for about 3 weeks, food tasted very off. It tasted like metal. It tasted very bitter, hard. I really could not taste chicken well, even if it was seasoned properly. Everything just tasted like metal. It just was not good, but I knew I had to eat something or I would get sick, especially taking my pain medication. So that's kind of what I dealt with. In January, so October was my surgery. I healed in about a month and I went back to my normal activities. After that point, after 2 weeks, you can go back to work. In about 3 to 4 weeks, you can properly exercise again, but still watch yourself, watch your balance, ease into things. Don't go run a marathon. Don't compete in a huge race. Don't lift anything, don't start maxing out. Start very, very slowly. And don't drive long distances until you can really trust yourself. So from October was my surgery. I healed for about a month. In January, I had a follow-up appointment with Dr. Eisenman at University of Maryland Medical Center. And there is where they did a hearing test for me at that point to kind of check and see, is my hearing back, and kind of what percentage is it. So I'm happy to report that after my hearing test, my first hearing test after my surgery, my left ear is 100%. It's 100% normal. I can hear like a normal person in that ear. I'm going to be honest, my right ear still has to be done. I'm hoping that I can have the surgery in the fall of this year, 2016. And I am really hoping that I get that soon, because I still have days where I struggle. I still have days where I'll pick up the phone, and because I can't hear well on the right ear, I put the phone on speakerphone. I know a lot of my friends and family know that I'll hit the speakerphone real quick because I cannot hear too well just sitting on the phone talking with somebody. So people that know I have the issue, they do respect that. They do understand. If I have to say, or can you repeat that? It's not as bad anymore, but I still have my days. Some of the after effects of this surgery, I will say this is probably one of the best surgeries that can happen for somebody. You don't have any crazy long-term effects. But there are some nights where I'll wake up and it'll be midnight, and I'll hear like sounds of the ocean, waves. And I think that's just my ears really adjusting, my eardrums beating back to normal. For a while, my eardrums were healing. So I'll hear a loud like beating sound and just hear it thumping in my ear. Or it'll sound like water is swishing. Bathing. You still need to be careful about allowing water into your ear. So wear a shower cap if you're taking a shower, or if you are at the hair salon or getting your hair washed, make sure you still cover your ear with a cup. There's sometimes even an Otosclerosis cup that goes over your ear, or you can put a Q-tip or either a cotton ball, inside of your ear as you're getting it washed to kind of protect it, to keep water from going down into the device. What I have down in my ear is a permanent like titanium fixture in my ear, which allows sound to resonate for the rest of my life. I'm going to avoid scuba diving, and I'm going to avoid flying out of airplanes because I don't ever want the device to detach and come out. It's something, scuba diving is a luxury I can live without. I'd rather have my hearing than have that piece come out. Also, traumatic injuries like a car accident that could knock into your face and your ear could trigger the piece coming out. But it is technically a permanent fixture that if you don't have any major injuries, this will stay forever. I won't need a hearing aid. So if anybody has any questions, concerns, any tips, people that have otosclerosis, what things have you done, or what symptoms do you still deal with after your surgery? This disease is not something that is just for older people. And matter of fact, it affects even younger people. And I'm just here just to be another person that can just spread light upon the situation. I'm not a medical expert. I'm just a normal person who has experienced this, and I just feel like I don't see enough information on it. If I do, it's doctors talking about it or surgeries performed on it. I would love to see people that really have dealt with this and how it's changed your life. I know for me that after I get my second surgery, it's going to make me feel more confident. It's going to make me feel like I can have conversations with people and I don't have to be loud or ask them like, can you repeat that? Or, I can't hear this too well. And I don't have to excuse myself because a noise is getting too loud. I pray that with my second surgery that, everything will be back to normal. Hearing is everything. Hearing is crucial. Don't take this kind of thing for granted. And for people that can hear, kind of make sure that your family members, whether they're 7 or whether they're 81, go and get some annual hearing exams. Check out your ENT. When you go to your ENT, ask them, can I get a hearing exam? Even if you feel like you can hear well, it never hurts to go get that checked. I promise you that an accidental thinking I have an allergy problem turned into probably the biggest thing in my life, which told me that I was going to progressively not hear. In the future, I'll know that if I have kids, I need to make sure that they are getting annual exams because I'm a carrier for this disease. So this is not to alarm anybody or to scare anybody, and I'm here to ask any questions. I have so much more that I can share, and I hope that anybody that hears this feels comfortable to come talk to me. This is nothing to be ashamed of, and ears are important. And Dr. Oz, if you're listening, I would love love to come onto your show and talk about it, do another video special about it, to speak on it, to speak with your doctors, to be a test patient in your audience, and just to be another voice. So everybody have a great day, and talk to me.